Festivals are a great opportunity to share the things that go through our hands and express ourselves. So thank you for the organization, for the opportunity of having me and my team telling our story here, my mom coming all the way from Brazil, and being able to, I think, being a son, a lot of times we are not so patient with our parents, and then times like these reminds us of the importance of them and how they allow ourselves to be who we are, and having people in the audience from all walks of life, and then having this urgency to tell something that may interest some people, may scare other people, or may bore other people. So I think before telling anything about the movie, I think it's a great chance to hear what you guys have as curiosity about it, like if you like it or what you want to know about it, then I could say anything.
You want to hear feedback?
Yeah, instead of like just bragging about how it was amazing.
Well, ask him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which one was it?
Erase Me, the third one about the trans woman and the doctor.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
thank you.
Absolutely. It was bold. It was really bold, and you took a strong stance. I think it was really important. So lots of question, but more of a congratulations to you on an awesome, awesome film. What inspired you to tell that story? You had your blurb at the end about the highest rate of transgender mortality in Brazil. But what spoke to you about telling that particular story?
Thank you for the question. It all started actually from the final scene. So that was originally a poem that I wrote years prior. And when it came time to think about the film, this was actually my master's degree thesis. So I think it's always like, short films are always like that window of allowing yourself to experiment things that you may not be sure on how to translate them, but it gives you that space and opportunity. And so I actually dreamt the whole film scene from scene, like actually frame by frame, and I wrote it. I woke up at nighttime and I wrote that down. Eventually, with feedback and peers' feedback, you go changing things. I think for me it was important as an essay on status quo and a reflection on what have actually changed from the 80s until now, if this story still has space or not. I know that the trans community in Brazil, for example, would be very resistant to accept these days a film like this one, because in a way it's reinforcing the violence. But I think we should never forget on how we also have a duty of reporting or like bringing awareness that this is still very current. We have a transgender woman as a congresswoman in Brazil. She's the one of two. And before that, she was a prostitute on the streets for many years. She was abandoned by her family, what forced her to find her own means to keep surviving. And as you may see on this short film, I think her identity crisis is not on who she is as a woman, but the fact that her father left her since childhood and she has no trace of who he is. So family abandonment, it's something that also I want to speak about. The poem was about that. And then I felt that bringing light to a part of society that we may have very vicious eyes towards, would allow me to even myself clear all my prejudices. So at the end, I think the support group in LA, because I had the idea, it was like, how much fairness or how much property will I have on the subject if I don't have a chance to even listen to these people? So I was was 2 months on the support group, going every Friday and listening to their stories and how they also feel that they are underrepresented and they are always like looking over their shoulders. They don't feel that they can just be in an environment like this without, like, it's always some sort of pressure upon them. And I think I long for stories like that, and sometimes the style varies. This one I really wanted to push the button to show how, like, someone such animalistic as this very intelligent physician who's perfecting people, he can be a complete animal and get along in society. He's carrying on, and she's the one who's recurring to drug addiction, having to be forced to be on these spaces and being violated. And so it was what was in my head back then, and I needed to just even show how society can take pleasure out of someone's pain. When she's being aggressed, you have someone who's witnessing and it's having fun with it. So yeah, it was touching my own face too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where's this traveling to next?
Actually a documentary. The film itself?
Yeah, where is there other festivals?
It's gonna be in Angelica Film Festival this year still. It was in UK, in Louisiana, and also in Brazil. It got some awards like cinematography, supporting actor, hair, makeup, some different awards. Yeah. But it's still a lot to learn. I see all the fragilities of the film too, so experimenting.
You filmed it in Los Angeles? You filmed it in Los Angeles?
I filmed in Los Angeles with a Brazilian mixed crew, and then I have over half the cast Brazilian. As part of the process, it was very important for me in the audition calls that I would feel that the actors would be able to give themselves to such roles, because I knew how graphic it was. Some of the things that I had in the script didn't make to the final cut. It's like, I think someone who inspires me on telling stories is Pedro Almodovar, or Lars von Trier, or Jodorowsky. And for this specific film, I saw Gaspar Noé, a movie called Irreversible, and it was a recommendation from a friend. And he really pushes the graphics and the limits of time. I wanted people to feel the time of things when she's being violated, when she's feeling the pain of it. So like to really feel the actual, not cut so fast on those experiences. And then but I had actors on the audition calls that it seemed that they were up for the part. And then I started facing difficulty with the main actor. He was a straight man, a SAG actor, and then this was a student film. And he started giving me a hard time, like his agent started contacting me about the nudity and the situations that were going to be on the script that were present on the casting call, on the first audition, on the callback, and I had rehearsals for them on burlesque stripping, on pole dancing, makeup rehearsals, and I was having nightmares about my own short film that we all know it's so hard to fund. This was completely out of my pocket, my family pocket. And then I was like, I need to do something bold about it, otherwise I'm not going to be comfortable on set to be able to guide 50 people, you know, because I'm reluctant about the main performer. And João, he was actually a secondary actor. And then when I saw the situation, I really took a step, maybe, I don't know, I want to say 2 weeks prior. And I had to tell the doctor, the physician, the original American actor, that look, I'm so sorry that I came to this situation, but our main actor is not going to be able to be the one poem, so I had to change the entire thing. So I was gonna be in English, and I translated everything to Portuguese, and I still shot it. The actress who's the receptionist, she's actually an amazing singer and TV actress in Brazil. And I told her, look, I don't have main parts for females on the film, cis females, but if you want to take a read and if you could please be on the film, and she said yes. So there's these little achievements that we have each time we do a film. And the artwork was from a Mexican artist that she's based in New York. And I saw her work in 2008 in Brazil, in São Paulo. And when time came to, I remember about these butterflies with vaginas as the body. Like, where can I find this woman? Where can I find this work? I found her phone and email. I wrote to her. She said that she had her pieces in another movies as well with Diego Luna, Alice Braga, and then I was able to reason with her. She actually sent 4 original pieces of the butterflies and some illustrations so I could print and then incinerate after. So the process, the humanity, being able to talk about things that I don't know yet, but I want to, just expose it. It was part of this story.
I just wanted to appreciate like the representation of trans people, and especially the struggles that they go through in everyday life, the real dangerous things that can happen and actually do happen, not only to regular women, but trans women as well. So I appreciate bringing that darkness to light, and
Yeah, it was good because even the casting process was hard too, and I get asked that question sometimes as well. I did think originally look for a trans cast. I wasn't able to assess that back then. I went to film festivals, like the Trans Nation Film Festival. It used to happen in LA. It was an amazing film festival there, but I wasn't able to cast a trans person. Especially because it was about before a transition process as well. And I wanted to show that duality of soul and mentality and the body biology fighting against it too. And yeah, I became a more educated person in that sense, dialoguing, trying to understand different walks of life. So my next project, it has a lot to do. Some of them touch on disabled people, on homeless people. So it's just there. I don't know why, but I want to know every walk of life different than mine, so I can share it with others, and we can put ourselves in their experience too, and stop looking with pity or with fear or with anger. It's just understanding that that body, that mind, they carry another way of being in this life. Even the film that we saw, Eating the Silence, I think as hard as it is, his experience, I think it's just another physicality, and once we understand that, we will just be able to see people for who they are, instead of projecting something.